Alright, okay, bear with me, I've never done one of these before. Let me wait for the bus to go by. Today I'm going to talk about how to beat lust. It's pretty simple, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I've got 3 points, like every good sermon. It's not really a magic formula, it's simple. It really is so simple. But the world likes to make it seem like it's so hard that it's impossible, but the truth is it's definitely very possible. So it's hard though, let me preface, it's definitely not easy. I'm recording this video as someone who still struggles with lust, but by the grace of God I am so much better and I have a handle on it compared to what I used to be. Alright, so we're going to start. My first point is to flee. The Bible says to flee from sexual immorality. There's actually a story in Genesis 39 of a guy named Joseph, and this guy's wife basically tries to seduce him in their house, and he literally runs out of the house. Now, why am I telling you this? Good question. If you get in the ring with sexual immorality, with lust, with porn, with sex before marriage, if you get in the ring and you allow yourself to be tempted and you try to fight it with your own willpower, you're going to get knocked out. You're going to get sat down. You're going to get knocked out. That's really as simple as it gets. When you feel tempted, or when you're in a situation, say you're at a girl's house, this is the first time you're with the girl or boy, and they're starting to go a direction where you know it shouldn't be going, instead of saying, oh, and like playing with it and tiptoeing along the lines, if you do that, you're gonna fall. So you need to flee, in which case this would be getting out. You need to get out of the environment. You need to get out of the situation. You need to get away from whatever it is that it is leading you to this. You need to literally flee. You can't give it a chance to knock you out, because if you do, it'll knock you out. We all have a desire for sex, and that is completely natural, but it's so ingrained in our sin nature that our flesh wants it so bad. And at the end of the day, if you're surrounded by people who are not Christian and are not denying their flesh, then you're gonna fall and you're gonna land on your face, and then you're gonna get up and say, why didn't I beat it? And you shouldn't be trying to beat it. Instead of saying how to beat lust, you should say, I need to run. I'm gonna run from lust, run as far away from possible and not even get in the same room as lust. My next point is cut it off. So many of you have probably heard this verse. It's in Matthew. It's Matthew 18:8. It says, if your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into eternal fire. It is better for you to enter life. When it says it's better for you to enter life, it means heaven. So it's saying, if your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off. It's better for you to go into heaven without your hands or your feet than it is to go to hell with both of them. Now, obviously this is a metaphor. It's not asking you to amputate your hand because you struggle with... Okay. Obviously this is a metaphor. What it's saying is, whatever is causing you to sin in your life, you need to get it out and cut it off. So for instance, Instagram, social media, if you're scrolling and you see something that causes you to lust, or a relationship in your life that's causing you to lust, or anything, it really can be anything, your friends, it says your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. I'll give you an example. For me, I don't have any social media. I have it on my computer because I need to be able to post, but I don't have Instagram or TikTok. I have Snapchat, and that is solely because they are full of crap. They're full of things that are promoting me to lust and to fall into temptation. And so at the same time I'm fleeing from that, I'm not even putting myself in the environment. That's why I'm deleting those apps altogether. But I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting off my hand, in a sense, my hand being a part of my life, something in my life, which is the hand or foot being the metaphor to. And in this case, it would be social media. It could be secular music. The things you're listening to do have an effect on you. If you're listening to rap all the time about murdering people and having sex, then you're probably, maybe it won't inspire you to do those things, but it's at least going to distract you from God. To get back to the point, you need to cut off the things that are distracting you or causing you to lust. So whether that be social media, whether that be friends, a real friend should not be somebody who's promoting you to lust all the time. You need to be able to cut off these desires and cut off these things that are causing you to lust, and you'll be so much more successful. You can't just say you're gonna stop and then keep scrolling on TikTok and see a pretty girl or boy and they're dressed obviously inappropriately, and then you get a seed planted in your brain. Here's a great quote: birds can fly above your head all the time. You decide whether you let it nest or not. Meaning, another metaphor. There's going to be temptation. There's going to be people walking around naked. There's going to be TikToks, Instagram. There's going to be friends. There's going to be girls, boys, people who are easy to lust after, people that are causing temptation. You decide whether or not you succumb to that temptation. You decide whether or not thought or the bird nest. And most important point is to surrender. You need to surrender your lust. You need to surrender. This applies to really any problem that you're having, but you need to surrender it to God fully and give it to Him. You're saying, God, I surrender this to you. I want to beat this, but I can't do it with my own power. I surrender it to you right now. I ask that you give me the strength to flee from this. Now, you can't be asking God to give you the strength to defeat it if you're just going to keep surrounding yourself with it. Because if you keep surrounding yourself with it, at some point you're going to fall. That's just how it works. We live in an evil world full of it, and you're going to fall if you keep surrounding yourself with it. So flee from it, get away from it, cut it off. Anything in your life right now that you can see or that you can't see, that may or may not be causing you to lust and you may not even know it, cut it off. If you really want to beat it, you got to cut it off. Social media is a big thing. I would recommend it. Just deleting it. It's so bad. There's nothing good on social media, bro. Like, yes, there's TikToks about people preaching, but then the next video is a girl twerking. Sorry. Third point, most importantly, surrender. Just surrender it fully to Him. That's easier than it sounds, but you really just have to stop focusing on it and stop thinking about, oh, I fell, or oh my gosh, I'm getting tempted so hard right now. What do I do? Surrender it to God fully. Say, God, I am being tempted right now. I surrender this to you. Often, when I'm tempted the heaviest, I'm in my bed or I'm in my room alone. Now, you need to surrender, but you also need to flee, meaning you need to get out of your room. You need to get out of wherever is tempting you. So, like I said prior, I'm not perfect, but sometimes I'll go work out at night, or I'll go on a walk, or I'll go play an instrument. Worship is really helpful. Get out of the environment that you are being tempted in and surrender it to God. It sounds complicated, but that's really that simple. Flee from it, stop. All right. Pray about it, surrender it to God. Make it clear to Him what is happening. He knows what's happening, but unless you draw near to Him, He can't draw near to you. You need to draw near to Him and tell Him what you're struggling with, and He can help you with it. It's going to take time for most people, and it's going to take you falling sometimes, but you can't fall fully because He holds you by your righteous right hand. Keep getting up, keep fleeing, stop dwelling on it. If you sin or if you fall, you need to not dwell on it, because that's just going to get you caught up. Satan wants you to fall, and then he wants you to think you're not worthy, or he wants you to focus on how you fell and to not stop thinking about that. When you fall, get back up, repent, surrender, and get right back to it. If you fall, pay attention to what is causing you to fall and get it out of your life. If that means every night at 9:30 you're tempted, every night at 9:30 start going to the gym. Whatever it has to be, get it out. Make your life not so consistent that it's and habitual. It's going to take time to break off habits, especially if you're doing this every day. But I promise you, if you make it 3 weeks without doing it, or without lusting, or without going to that friend that you're so used to going to that causes you to lust, it will start to become normal, and it won't be so habitual that you can't break it off. It's possible. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.